Today I'm going to break down the real practical ways to plan a full wedding for $5,000 or less. Not theoretical, this is what I've actually seen works. First, quick reality check. A $5,000 wedding means that you have to be intentional with your finances and your budgeting. This is not the time to try everything you see on Pinterest or everything you see on TikTok, Instagram, social media. This is just not the time because those weddings that you see are typically hundreds of thousands of dollars in just florals. The things that you should focus on right now is your experience, your people, and what matters the most to you as a couple. This is how you're going to stay under budget and still enjoy and love and appreciate your wedding day. Okay, so here's the first strategy in planning a wedding under $5,000 or less is choosing an off-season or a weekday for your venue. Venues charge way less for off-season celebrations and weekdays too. It's almost double or even triple what it could be on a weekend or in season. So if you can plan around that and make sure that your wedding is in the off season or plan it on a weekday, then you're going to be in a lot better shape financially and could only be spending about $1,000 to $2,000 on your venue. You can literally save thousands just by changing your wedding date, if you can. And remember, it's not about the day, it's about the couple. It's about you and your fiance. So being married to a date is actually, just learn to be flexible. Take the advantage of scheduling in the off season or on a weekday. Number 2 is consider a backyard wedding or non-traditional venues for your wedding. You can look into public parks, churches, small community spaces, or clubhouses. Just make sure that you're checking for things like parking, restrooms, and permits needed to have a celebration there. Number 3 is to keep your guest list small and intentional. I see so many videos and I hear from so many brides that they're struggling with their guest list because they have over 150 people coming to their wedding. And I'm like, how do you have 150 people? How do you have 150 friends? I'm pretty sure there's some guy somewhere that said that the brain can only handle 100. You can only process like 100 people in your little sphere of yourself. And so having 150 people to 200, you don't need that many people coming to your wedding. There is a rule of thumb for inviting people. If you haven't talked to them in 5 years, talk to them, texted them, then they probably shouldn't be coming to your wedding. Family's a little bit different. You don't have to invite every single extended family member. It's nice to feel like you have a big celebration or a big people or a big group behind you. But when it comes down to it, having a small, intimate group of people that you deeply love and deeply care about and vice versa is going to make a huge difference on your wedding day. So my recommendation is to cap it at 50 people, maybe 75 to 100, but 50 people, I feel like that is plenty. That is plenty of people to have a celebration that you still love. And to fill a dance floor, because I feel like that's what brides stress about most is are people going to dance? Is my dance floor going to be empty? Is my wedding going to be empty? So maybe shoot for 75 if you're worried about that, but 50 people is a good number to start with. And yeah, you don't have to invite the entire world to your wedding. And just remember that extra guests mean extra food, extra seating, extra tables, extra party favors if you do those, but I would also cut those as well. You don't need to give your guests a gift. Number 4 is to send digital invites instead of having them printed. There are some ways that you can get affordable printing. I would suggest Canva or Staples. You can design your invitations on there and then get them printed, sent out. But just remember you are going to have to pay for envelopes and stamps, and they honestly are going to probably end up in the trash anyway. I hate to say that, but it's true. As soon as I get a wedding invitation, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'll keep it on the fridge for a couple months, and then it doesn't mean anything anymore. So it is going to end up in the trash. So just consider that. You can send a digital invite. I'd also recommend that you do a Facebook group event. I know it's kind of outdated, but Facebook there's still a lot of people on Facebook. And so if you create an event there and make sure that you update it or have a wedding website. Number 5 is to hire a mid-experience or beginner photographer. I know that is probably a little bit controversial because Typically, when I tell people where to spend their budget, it's venue, photography, and catering. Those are the big three things that you always want to make sure that your budget is allotted a little bit more to. For photography, you don't have to have the highest end photographer to get great photos that you love. It's important to do your research and to find a photographer style that you love. I would also find a local photographer so you can avoid travel fees, and just make sure that you've seen like their portfolio. You could save like a couple thousand on photography. I feel like the average photographer prices that I've seen start at like 2-3 grand and then just go up from there. So if you can find somebody that's less than that, that's going to save a lot of money for you. Another way to make sure that you're getting a photographer that you love is to see if they offer an engagement package or a discounted engagement session along with the wedding package, so that you can do an engagement session with them or like a pre or a bridal session before the wedding day to see how you work well with each other. And then you'll get the pictures back and you can decide, yes, I want to hire them for my wedding, or no, we want to go with somebody else. Number 6 is to skip the videographer. That's going to be another couple thousand, and to hire a content creator instead that does phone footage. I love wedding content creators. I think they're amazing. I would love to be a wedding content creator. If anybody wants to hire me, hit me up. I would love to do your wedding. It'd be a nice change from photos. Anyways, so videographers are very expensive. They have a lot of gear and lighting and things like that, which comes out of the wedding budget that you have to pay for. They calculate all of that. So if you hire a wedding content creator, or even just assign somebody in your bridal party to make sure that they are capturing videos throughout the day so that you have videos and pictures immediately to look back on, is going to make a huge difference. If you've ever heard of a company like Wedding Snap, they are a company that offers QR codes, special QR codes to brides and grooms for their wedding day that they can print out. You can have it on every single table, on signs around the wedding. Guests can scan the QR code and upload their pictures and videos to the gallery, and it is immediately accessible to the bride and groom so that they can look at all the pictures and just relive their day over and over again, quicker than having to wait months and weeks for their final gallery to be delivered from their photographer, because that does take some time. So you can look into doing that instead of a content creator. Like if you just want to rely on your guests, it is a little bit risky because you never know what you're going to get. Number 7, and I will die on this hill, is to use Costco or Sam's Club for your desserts and your cake. I always suggest that you get the plain ass white sheet cake for your wedding, and then you have a toppings bar. The full size sheet cake is about $40 and it feeds 70 to like 96 people, 72 to 96 people. That is a ton of cake, okay? And remember, if you only have 50 guests, that's going to leave enough for everybody to have seconds. So I would definitely opt for that. And then for your toppings bar, you can do fruits, you can do chocolate sauce, just any like candy, just whatever goes with cake. You could do ice cream, just keep it simple. So that's like a good way to go. And then if you still would like to do the cake cutting tradition, get a small little baby cake from a grocery store. Those actually are so good. I had one the other day and I was so impressed with like the quality and the flavor and the texture of the cake that I was like, oh man, like I wish I would have known about this when I got married, because I had like this big ass 3-tier cake. I didn't actually love how the cake tasted like once I had it, and I ended up saving it and freezing it for later, and it was just like, it wasn't good. Okay, you don't need to freeze your cake and eat it. Let's just get a new cake. So with Costco cake, you're not going to feel as bad about not having a wedding cake frozen for you on your anniversary, because you can just go get another Costco cake and you can get a half size, or you can get a smaller cake. So opt for that option. Do the toppings bar, do the ice cream, do something to elevate it so it's not just like the plain sheet cake, because that is a little bit depressing. But yeah, just we're doing little things to just make it a little more elevated but still stay within our budget. And that brings me to number 8, is simplify your food and catering. If you're going to do something, the cheapest way to go to feed a lot of people is tacos. Do a taco bar, and you can still have that catered and it's still so delicious. You can go to a Mexican restaurant, ask if you can get like a bunch of tacos ready on the day, like get it catered. That is one thing that you could do that is still really good. If you're going to DIY your food, you could still do a taco bar. It's still really easy. I'd still recommend getting all your food and supplies from Sam's Club or Costco, just to make it easy on yourself. And food doesn't have to be fancy to be good. People love comfortable food. So taco bars, pasta bars, and barbecue are like my top 3 cheapest wedding food options that still taste good that people like. Number 9 is to rent, borrow, or thrift your wedding decor. This is an area where you can end up spending a lot because decor can be really expensive if bought new. But there are tons of brides, like you are only going to use it once and then they're going to sell it. So you know that the wedding supplies that you're getting on Marketplace or thrifting is probably only going to be used once or twice. So don't buy everything brand new. You don't have to do that. Look on Facebook Marketplace, thrift stores, DI, Goodwill, ask family and friends, and especially check out local Facebook wedding group pages. They have tons of stuff to offer. Number 10 is to DIY strategically. This can be a huge drain on brides who don't actually enjoy doing it themselves. I found that out pretty quick. I think I tried to DIY some of my wedding decor and it just I ended up just throwing some stuff in a hallway at my wedding because I just didn't want to do it at that point. So if you're going to DIY, make sure you do it ahead of time. You prepare and probably only do the centerpieces and maybe the signs for your wedding. And even for those, you can design signage on Canva, get those printed at Staples on a poster board. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it still can be elegant and elevated. Number 11 is to keep your dress budget friendly. This is another area of wedding planning that can really blow your budget if you are not intentional and careful about this. Because if you walk into a bridal shop, it is so easy to get caught up in the dresses, and if you find a dress that you love, you're going to want to sacrifice everything just so you can have that dress. And you're going to hear the voices in your head saying, well, this is my one day. This is the day I've been waiting for forever. And if it's a $2,000, $3,000 dress, that's half your budget gone. Look into renting or brides that are selling their wedding dresses from their previous weddings. Try to keep your dress under $500 or even $1,000 or less. Look online, secondhand, off the rack, or sample sales. These are really good things to look into. This was one of the things that I regretted the most about my wedding was how expensive my dress was. I loved my dress, but there were some problems with the alterations. So it ended up costing a little bit more and it didn't fit quite right. And then I never wore it again. And it was $2,000 and I'm just it's still sitting in my closet. You feel maybe you'll sell it afterwards or you want to keep your dress, but there's still ways to make it budget friendly that don't sacrifice the style. Make sure that you give yourself enough time to find a dress that you like. You can still look on Etsy. You can still look on Amazon. A lot of that has worked out for a lot of brides. You just have to do what's best for you in that situation and find something that you love that's still within your budget. Number 12, if you don't want to hire a DJ, which I actually do recommend that is one of the things that you allot some of your budget to, because DJs can help with the flow of the wedding, especially if you don't have a day of coordinator or a wedding planner. If you give your DJ your timeline, they can be so good at announcing what comes next, where to look, where the energy should be. And if they're a great DJ, they're able to keep the vibe really good and get people on the dance floor and dancing, and the energy is just so good. So that's one thing I would not skip is a DJ. But if you do, then you're going to have to rent or buy speakers and create a song list that you love and make sure that you have somebody assigned and coordinated to play certain songs. Things can always go wrong when you are doing this, the wrong song could be played. So just make sure that you're just taking what comes on the day of, it's still okay if the wrong song is played. All you got to do is say, oh, can we play this song instead? You don't need to throw a fit. Assign a music manager. Number 13 is to skip what you do not care about. And this is a really big one. You don't have to get matching robes for your bridesmaids. You don't have to do party favors. You don't have to do over the top decor. You don't have to do every tradition, the garter toss, bouquet toss. You don't have to do the fancy dinner. You don't have to have alcohol at your wedding. So many ways that you can cut back on your wedding budget. Skip what you don't want to do. You don't have to do anything. It can just be whatever you want to be. That's like the great thing about weddings, but also the thing that people get mad about the most when I talk about this is that your wedding day can be exactly like whatever you want. Number 14 is florals. You can skip the real florals because real florals are expensive. I will say that fake florals are also expensive. However, they are less expensive than real florals. You get to keep your bouquet. So if you want to make your own wedding bouquet and have it forever, like I think that's a really special thing that you can have your wedding bouquet forever. If you're going to do real florals, my suggestion is to, again, use Sam's Club or Costco. You can order flowers online. They have it for less expensive and they're already ready to go. So you can pick them up the day before, day of, even I wouldn't recommend day of, do it before. And you can have fresh florals. They also have fresh garland for table runners, which is nice. And then every time I go to Sam's Club or Costco, I just look at the flower section to just see what they have. They have so much greenery. Want to do like cute centerpieces, make those, DIY those. You could do like fresh flowers for that. So I guess that's going to be my top 14 saving hacks to plan a wedding for $5,000 or less. So at the end of the day, the best weddings are the ones where you get to be present at. Have fun and celebrate with the people that are closest to you and celebrate your marriage. If this helped you, make sure to subscribe. And if you want more help or wedding planning tips, I've got resources linked below. I'll see you next week. Happy wedding planning.